Which dates back to 1996 that they have played on this festive evening. Are we going to have fireworks and celebrations at the end of it? Which set of fans will be cheering away at the end? It's a capacity crowd here, 10,000 allowed in because of COVID-19. Everything snapped up days ago. Lots of red in here. It happens to be the colors of both sides, Indonesia and Singapore, and they both have a specialty of being in the semi-finals. Singapore have got through 4 out of the 5 times they've got here. Indonesia have got through 5 out of the 8 times. And more often than not, they make it through to the final, but something will obviously have to give today. The first leg ended 1-1, a game in which Indonesia controlled the first half. Singapore made some tweaks and fought back well in the second, and that sets us up tantalizingly for this next leg. With me here in the commentary position, Roshan Rai. And boy, Roshan, there were so many elements in that last game. It sets us up beautifully for this one, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. And I mean, when you think of the 2 legs in this semi-final, it's essentially come down to this one-off game here. Tonight, 1-1, no away goals. That doesn't really come into it. So they've all got to put it out there, everything that they've got. They know what's at stake, a place in the final of the competition. And I've heard people talking about that old cliche, who wants it more? Well, we're about to find out.
And would it be fair to say, Roshan, at the end of that match, neither side could probably say we were better than you or we had the edge? Do you think it was a fair reflection that day?
Yeah, it was an interesting game of football. First half, I thought Indonesia were the better side. They controlled the game really well, and then second half they allowed Singapore to sort of get back into it, and perhaps a bit of fatigue in the legs of some of these Indonesian players. Some of the substitutions were a little bit strange as well. Alkan Bagat coming in at halftime sort of disrupted things and allowed, you know, Iksan especially from Singapore to get an opportunity to run at him on a couple of occasions. And I thought Singapore's performance was much better in the second 45, and they came away with a draw, which was a fair result when you look back at that match.
Are high in Singapore for the national team, who many feel have punched above their weight. And same now with Indonesia as we look at the lineups, and they make 2 changes from that first leg. Ezra Walian, the preferred striker this evening, and Ramai Rumakek returns from suspension They are still maintaining that 5-4-1 that they played in the first leg, perhaps the surprise of many. And it is interesting to see that Irfan, who's been one of the outstanding players for Indonesia, drops to the bench today. Didik Setiawan is the striker who will also be on the bench. They have got plenty of other attackers to call upon. Egy Maulana in particular, so much been talked about him. Much speculation as to whether he would start today in attack, but he will be on the bench. The player who is in the Slovakian league. And there is another surprise. Irfan Fandi, we'll talk about him in a short while, as the two captains, Asnawi and Haris Harun. Just having the toss, deciding which ends. Talking of ends, we could well have penalties at the end of all of this. If it is still a draw at the end of the 90, then extra time, we will go to penalties. Singapore make more changes than Indonesia from that first leg. In come Amy Reka, Hafiz Noor, Zulkarnain Sulaiman and Hami Shahin. So 4 changes in all for Singapore. They too are going to go with a 5 at the back, 5-4-1. Slight tweak from the last game where it was a 5-3-2. And it's Haris Harun in the middle of that defense. A tweak that they had in the second half of the game against Indonesia would seem to bear fruit. The players that make way, Nazrul Nazari, the right back, as well as Irfan Fandi and Faris Ramli. Perhaps the 2 changes that will have a few Singaporeans a little bit concerned. Zulfami Arifin was taken off in the middle of that game against Indonesia in the first leg. Kasim Al-Hatmi, the referee, Omani referee, the last referee in the previous game, came under scrutiny for decisions, penalty that wasn't given. And there's been plenty of talk from the coaches here about asking for VAR in the next edition. Let's see if that happens. But here in the here and now, Roshan, what do you make of the 2 lineups tonight?
I think for Indonesia, it's one we pretty much expected. You know, they've done well. They found pretty much a system that they're going with that has suited them. And again, when you look at the lineups that they've got, there's an opportunity for, as we said, the flexibility that they have with Alfiandra, for example, can slot into a back 3. They can also go with a back 4 and push Alfiandra forward into that midfield to play alongside Rahmadi Rianto and Ricky Kambuaya. So there's flexibility in that lineup, and it's the same with Singapore as well. A bit more surprised with the changes that they've made, but I think they've perhaps had a few fitness issues. The game's, you know, coming thick and fast in the knockout stages.
Well, almost immediately, Hafiz Noor searing down that left-hand side. He's got the pace, hasn't he, Hafiz Noor?
He's been looking confident, hasn't he? And not Hafiz Noor, I'm referring to the man on the bench just now. Tatsuma Yoshida is smiling all the way through.
It's a different kind of outlook because he's had a tough time, hasn't he, in this tournament?
Yeah, and he's got a big smile on his face. You know, we saw him as the teams were coming out for their warm-up. He was looking nice and relaxed, nice and confident. And you know, we talk about the changes that are being made. You see that the goals that have been conceded in this competition, the passing accuracy so far, things like the crossing accuracy, not too much of a difference between these two sides.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, every stat there, and there's Shin Tae-yong, the opposite number. Decided not to release quickly. Has done that in the past, hasn't he, with Faris Ramli in particular. That was perhaps telegraphed. Comes straight back at Singapore here. A real problem. It's a straightforward goal. And it's Ezra Walian. Indonesia take advantage there.
They deserve this, Indonesia, for the start that they've had in this game. They've been aggressive with the press, with the starting position. They've not given these Singaporean players a chance to settle in this game so far. The punter field is picked up here by Alfiandra. Ball played in behind. Talk about who wants it more. Shahdan Sulaiman makes this goal happen. Just his desire to win it off Safuwan. Alfiandra first pokes it forward. And here you're thinking, Safuwan is caught on the wrong side. He's not goal side of Witan, but still physically, Witan just shrugs him off, unbalances him, and then has the presence of mind here. What I love about this is the composure. He hangs on to it, takes it past Haris, who's got a little bit flat-footed, and then holds and holds and waits for Hassan to come out to commit, and then finds the pass for a simple finish into Ezra Walian.
Well, we're just talking about perhaps a lack of goals up top for Indonesia. Ezra Walian has scored here. That's his second of the tournament. Boy, how valuable could that be? And once again, Indonesia would be enough to, of course, take it into extra time. And there's a chance here. The save has been made. Oh, it's made its way through. Indonesia have got the equaliser. And it's Pratama Arhan who has changed the game once again.
Oh, massive goal for Indonesia. And there you go. There you go. They're back in it now and suddenly loves to get forward. That he's there, he's quickest to react, and he puts that one away.
Well, while all that's going on, here come Indonesia again. There looked to be a foul on Irfan Fandi earlier. He was pleading with the referee. Singapore just seemed to stop in Indonesia.
What a game.
This has been quite the match, hasn't it? 2.5. Asnawi. With the space there for Egy Maulana. Still Egy. Oh, an important touch on, but it's gone in. Was that Irfan or no goal? It doesn't matter. Indonesia have taken the lead right at the start of extra time.
Oh, delight for Indonesia and their fans. They didn't need half an hour to be patient and get the goal. They've got it now right at the start of extra time. And what a huge goal this is. Great work from Egy to dribble it on. Hassan can only really just get a palm on it. And he's hoping that Sahwal can complete the clearance. Very unfortunate for Sahwal. It's a swing and a miss at the attempted clearance. Heartbreaking for him. It's an and that quality.
We did see the problem there. And they've got their fourth. Egy Maulana, surely now. They've got themselves into the final. A little bit of a mishap at the back, perhaps, for Singapore.
But for the way this Singapore side has fought, the goals that they've conceded here in these two situations in extra time have been very disappointing. A mistake from Hassan, and as I said, he was absolutely outstanding. And then he just gets caught out by Egy at the near post, gets a bit distracted, takes his eye off the ball. Yeah, late sliding challenge from Nazrul just to try and put Irfan Jaya off as he was setting himself to shoot. But this is wonderful from Hassan again, covering his angles. Look at him, no panic, full of focus, sets himself. Look at how he stays big there, just stands up, waits as long as he possibly can. All that composure, all that experience, and that quality.
We did see the problem there. And they've got their fourth. Egy Maulana, surely now. They've got themselves into the final. A little bit of a mishap at the back, perhaps, for Singapore.
But for the way this Singapore side has fought, the goals that they've conceded here in these two situations in extra time have been very disappointing. A mistake from Hassan, and as I said, he was absolutely outstanding. And then he just gets caught out by Egy at the near post, gets a bit distracted, takes his eye off the ball. And that should be it for Indonesia, really. 15 more minutes to see this one out.
Goals at either end of that first period of extra time have now put Indonesia very, very firmly in the driving seat here. And Singapore have, well, uphill struggle probably doesn't even begin to describe what's going to happen now, but with that second period coming up, for now it's Indonesia 4, Singapore 2.